Hello and welcome to a Smite tier list maker. Haven't made one of these in a while. And as promised a long time ago, I have recently gone back and played loads of Assassins in co-op arena and arena, and I now am happy to say I have a small knowledge of what I'm talking about with Assassins. So what we're going to be doing is covering briefly the Assassins due to their ability tier list. Now, Assassin is an odd one. I would expect Assassin characters to have certain abilities, which I would consider annoying, but they need to have them. Most assassins would have a poison based ability, a dash, a increased movement speed, increased attack speed, and invisibility. All the things that make an assassin a stealthy assassin or jump in and do a lot of damage assassin. So as always, we're going to be looking at this tier list. Don't go, if you're a big fan of jungle, don't go hating on me. As specified, this is a mediocre list. Assassins are they're not my least played role. My least played role is carry. Jungle, as far as jungle goes, I do play jungle, but I play free assassins. And we'll get onto those free assassins in a minute. So without further ado, let's look at the final one, part 5, long awaited, Assassin tier list for abilities. Boom. Not too bad, actually. As far as a lot of the assassins go, I seem a lot of them are very, very fair. And while I despise most of the assassins in this game, I will respect and say, okay, fair enough, they're fine assassins. But unfortunately, there is only one assassin in this entire list who is, in my opinion, probably the worst assassin in the game, and that's Loki. Now, everyone has their opinion on Loki, from being that he was the worst before he was reworked, and he's still terrible now. It begs the question, do high res know how to rework a god effectively? And it kind of looks problematic because you go, what are you talking about? They know what they're doing. Loki was the worst, and he's still the worst. And gods like Basset, who we'll get onto later, was reworked, came back, and she needs a rework again. So it's just the question, but we'll go straight into Loki. Loki was one of my 3 most played assassins, and he was actually one of my favourite jungles to play. Classic Loki was good old fashioned. Invisibility, critical strike ability, throw down your clone which would attract minions, and then assassinate, which was insanely cool, of just jump on a person behind you and stab them. That was OG Loki, and many people found him just like the bottiest character. He's a character that requires very little skill, therefore probably one of the worst in my opinion, which is why I played him. I'll cover it now. My 3 played assassins were Thor, Loki, and Ao Quan, who should be on this list, but he's a mage. That was on the mages video, I covered that, so go see that. My 3 junglers. Unfortunately, I find myself now after Loki's rework, I don't like Loki anymore. What they did with Loki to try and fix him, they kept his invisibility the same, relatively. They replaced his decoy with a poison effect, which is a very nice poison ability. He leaves himself another clone crying on the floor or something, and if enemies hit it, they get poisoned. If you stay in it long enough, it blurs your screen. We'll get on to why that is also a problem. Then they changed Loki's critical strike to a barrage of blade attacks. To be fair, is actually pretty cool. I do like using it from time to time. As in, you turn yourself invisible, come up behind someone, slice, 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 slice. Very effective. And their assassinate was relatively the same, only it's a little bit delayed in terms of the attack, and then it's just a basic another slice, 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 slice. The problem that I have with Loki now is you can actually dodge his ult. Loki's old ult was behind you, jumps on top of you, stabs you, then can potentially beat you up. If you move ever so slightly to the left or the right, you can actually dodge his ult, which comes with a stun. Loki was one of the few who I went, wait, what? That's your rework? And I'll go over them. His invisibility actually seems to have been a slightly bit nerfed. I think it is. I think there's a small cooldown time, something like that. His X was so insanely useful for attacking buffs. Attract the minions in so you're not attacking them, so then you can attack them from behind, which was the whole thing with Loki, attack enemies from behind, which I don't know why they got rid of. His circle, to be fair, critical strike was only good with when you were behind somebody. Plus, also, whenever you were playing OG original Smite, and you're like mid lane, you're in the jungle, you're carrying your tanks backed, and you're just playing around, and then you hear pacha. You just look around like, uh oh. You look up and you go, uh oh, Loki's not on our team, and you instantly go into dread mode, like, oh no. You hear the noise, but you can't see him. But no, so for me, Loki, if before the rework, I probably would have put him as an okay tier. But now the whole just how you can, as times I've played mages and I've played a guardian or a hunter, and you just move to the left and you can dodge it. It's I don't know why. I don't know why they reworked and made him even worse. But hopefully someone can clarify that. Or if it is actually just a bug. I haven't seen anyone play Loki in a long time since I last did that. Probably before season 8, since I actually saw someone play a Loki. But he's just not that dangerous anymore. Right, as a round for all right gods, we're going to keep it simple. Bakasura, although is an insanely powerful god, I respect that. His abilities are pretty decent as far as they go. The reason why he's here and not up in the high listings is because Bakasura, for his passive, for his ability, like its ult, to take massive amounts of damage, you need to eat lots of minions. So building stacks with minions and building stacks with camps is a massive importance. So in a game type like Arena, where your team just decimate a lane of minions, or in a game type like Clash, Joust, they just slaughter through all the minions. Maps where there's not that many jungle camps. In a game of Conquest, he is hands down probably one of the best assassins I've actually come up against. But as far as him in any other game type, he can potentially start off slow. I'm going to botch attempting to say this name. Kamazots. Kamazots is an odd one. I've always said he's the worst, but then I actually had a time playing him. His passive is insanely cool, being able to drink blood off the floor, off your teammates and the enemy. His ult is insanely overpowered in that he can swoop down from above, potentially being in an invincible stance, similar to that of Jormungandr's ult, but not as overpowered, not as broken, and not as stupid as Jormungandr. That's on the Guardian list, go watch that one. But as far as the rest of his abilities go, he has a lifesteal, he has a shout, he has a ricochet. There's not many abilities for Camazots that are up and close and personal. He doesn't have an attack speed increase, he doesn't have like a critical attack. It's more just for his range and his slice. Because it was for me trying to build attack speed with him, or trying to build get up close and personal and slice. He wasn't like for that sort of a Mercury a Loki slice. No, he was more damage per hit. If that makes any sense. I'm pretty sure all you junglers out there are screaming, going, "What the hell is he talking about?" And I'm sit here going, "Oh yeah, don't worry. I'm buying the Guardian's blessing for the jungler." I can't anymore. They removed them. Great. Right, Daji is on the verge of being is like top tier for her abilities. Has something that every assassin, in my opinion, needs. It's a poison, which is very, very nice. Her slice through the air, which I'm pretty sure is her square, is a very cool ability. Her ult, Ares but slightly weaker, is a very nice addition, especially if you're in a team lobby like Assault or Arena. Pull them in and everyone else drop their ults. And her teleport is very, very strong. That's probably the one I would say why she's up here, is that she's a teleport-based god rather than a dash or like a jump. And I've always found that to be a little bit annoying, that it's just, I'm here, teleport over here. It's almost like a Hades or a Seller in my mage tier list, where it's, Instead of a line dash that you can physically see them, they either disappear under the ground or they just blink from one area to another. So it makes kind of unfair for some other gods, such as Susano has a sort of teleport as well, but it's not as dangerous as Dashi's. But overall, why Dashi is down here is Horalt, while is effective at pulling people in, it's very similar to Ares, but it doesn't cause that much of a negative damage. Also, with her poison and her runaway, she's, in my opinion, quite an all-rounder, plus having a buff for her claws. It's very hard. After saying out loud, as always, I can move them up and down. I'm very close to putting her up above. But I think it's just because of another teleport god that's up here above her that I won't. Fenrir is actually a very fun assassin to play. Um, he has a buff where he screams and makes himself red. I'm sure it did more than that, but we'll talk about that. He has a jump, which is very nice. He has turn into a giant wolf, pick you up, run you back to the base, have everyone attack you while he's in his mouth. And then he has a hit you multiple times while you're moving. Now, that one's is jump. He jumps on you, slashes, jumps, jumps, jumps. And you can't shake him off. You can run away, but no, he will follow you the entire time. As far as an assassin goes, he's actually pretty fun. Similar in the way of a Dashi, with her ult seeming that it grabs you and brings you closer, rather than an ult which causes a massive amount of damage. But Fenrir can only grab one of them, and when he's in that form, he gets a movement speed increase. Good for running away, or just good for picking up someone and dropping them on the tower. Mercury is another fun one, in that very attack speed heavy, which is what I wanted to see as an assassin. His dash is very effective. I remember Mercury's movement set, so I can say it on the PlayStation controller now. His dash, which is a circle, is a quick little line. If he runs into you, he can spin you around and pick the direction he's going to throw you. His X is a passive buff, which basically gives him an attack speed buff, which is very cool. And his square, I don't know exactly what he does, but I'm assuming he throws his fist, and his punch causes an effect of, like, woof. He throws something. I don't know how he does it, but it's Mercury. I don't need to question it. His ult, yet again, is a very, very fun ult to play. A lot of these assassins are actually a lot of fun to play. I played very, very poorly, but I enjoyed playing them. His ult shoots him across the entire length of the map, or a good chunk of distance. Whoever he hits stuns them and spins them around. Great for running away. Great for getting the person running away. Not particularly great if you're very bad with accuracy. The problem that I think with Mercury's ult is when he hits people, he could potentially launch directly across the other side of the map, and if you fly past the people, you've got to run back and try and chase them. Now, if you're dealing with a Janus who can teleport through walls, or a Kronos who can just press triangle and he's disappeared, it's quite problematic, but yet again, another assassin who's deemed pretty decent. I'm getting a little bit slow here. I'll have to speed things up. Nemesis is basic default. I do like her. A shield, which is similar to Thorns. You hit her and it hurts you, but she also heals off of that Thorns. Very nice. Her ult, I'll be honest, I actually don't really know what her ult does. Aside from damage, it might do something more. Not too sure. Her her square, which is a dash. Dash once, dash twice, very nice. And she has a slice you and dice you with a nice cut, well balanced. Najar's an odd one, where he... I'll just go into it briefly. Ability sets. His abilities all seem to work quite well in comparison. He throws his spear up in the air, it gives him a small amount of health, in terms of a buff. He throws a frisbee at people, he throws his scarf or ribbon at someone and can pull them in, and his ult is very effective. Slice, 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 bring someone down. Similar effect to that of someone like King Arthur when his ult is high enough. He throws you up into the air and can cause critical damage. Aside from that, he doesn't have many terms of abilities that will cause a massive amount of damage. His ult really is used more as a finisher, similar like a Heem Dalia looking for a quick, easy kill. But he's a very odd one that I don't think his abilities give him that much damage output. I have seen games where he's decimated the lobby, but not so dangerous. But he's not like Loki. You can't, if you get hit by his ult, you can't move out of the way. When you're in the air, you can't get away. So that's why he's here. Pele, oh, is another one who's very close to being up higher than she is here, but we'll talk about her here. In that she is a very, very, very strong assassin. But I think it's more of it's strong, but she's balanced in the way she works. Shooting off into the fight as an ult is a very cool sort of thing. Smashing the ground, causing people to fly up into the air. I can't remember her moveset because it was very confusing. Firing lava balls at people like pellets, and her movement speed one is it's they all work very well together. She's close to being broken, but honestly, I'd say Pele is probably the last great assassin they released. I was very surprised how fun it was to actually play Pele, and I was very, very happy. Pele came out, I think, was the next god after when I played Samadi, and I never touched her because I never played Assassins. And I'm quite surprised. No, a lot of fun to play. Now, Ravana is an odd one. I think Ravana should be a warrior. His abilities don't seem to really be that of an assassin, which confuses me. I'll go into it briefly. His square is he pushes his hands towards people. His circle, oh sorry, his circle he shoots out something again, which can latch people in place. His X can repel an ability and he does a cool somersault flip. I'm surprised there's never been a footballer type skin for Ravana. And his ult, he jumps up in the air and smashes down onto the ground, causing a negative effect to all sorts of people and turning himself purple, similar to that of something like a tear effect. Problem though is I look at him and go, wait, was Ravana always an assassin? Because he doesn't look like one or act like one. Before, of course, I did Google it, and he was actually a warrior, which is quite surprising. Same as Thor and Nemesis were both warriors at one point, apparently. And I still I still sit there and go, how is he an assassin? Because his movesets don't really look like an assassin. As far as he goes, he's actually quite fun to play. But I tended to try and play him with a little bit more shield-based combat, as in protection. Trying to build a movement speed with him or attack speed with him was pretty difficult. But as far as he is, I would potentially like to actually say change class and make him a warrior. But it's just I don't know why. He just didn't feel like an assassin when I was playing him. Very odd, very odd. Everyone except for one. I will say one more. One more who didn't feel like an assassin, but I'll get to him in a moment. Serket is, I'd say, probably the most basic example of an assassin that works well. Her line dash, slice, 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 which is a square, very effective and very useful. Her poison works the same in a sort of a Discordia. When you poison someone, they will instinctively turn around and attack their nearest teammate, giving them a sense of daze. Her circle is an invisibility, which is a very cool one. She stands completely stationary, invisible. And she can wait there the entire time. If somebody walks past her or in her vicinity, she'll become visible again. But then she can jump in and cause damage. I do like that invisibility sort of aspect. The waiting scorpion. Then her ult is another very effective one, using all poison. Serket is mainly poison related. Stabs you in the neck, kicks you away, as in it's instant. As soon as you're in her vicinity, she can jump onto you, poison you, and push you away. And then she can keep hitting you, causing significant amount of damage. That's the sort of ult Loki needed, but didn't get. So, Serket's decent. Susano, I actually did play Susano before I got him as a free god. Susano is a very interesting one in that I think it's just there's a little bit of hatred towards Susano in the game itself, and I don't know why. But I think it's more of something that High Res could do to help him rather than... He's not a bad god and his abilities are pretty decent. Go straight into them. Square, he spins his sword around 1, 2, 3, stab. Pretty nice, causing a lot of damage quite quickly and going through. His X, he can bring people towards him, then where he can do more damage. His circle is a teleport where he can throw his smoke cloud onto someone, he can teleport to that, or he can throw it away and teleport to that. And what better thing than you need for an ultimate than to call in a tornado and just plow down a straight line of enemies, push them into the air, and get your sword out and just go chop, chop, chop. Susanna is a very fun assassin to play, and to be honest, a good all-rounder. Thor, like Ravana, should go back to being a warrior. I played him as a warrior, and he is my highest god mastery, and I still think he's a bloody warrior. Throw your hammer, teleport to it, or throw your hammer to chase after people. Slam the ground, don't cause any damage to them, but stuns them. I miss Thor's old ability of Circle, where he just spun around in circles for a long time. It's changed into a good one, it's alright. And Thor's ult, timeless classic. Up in the air, look around, bang! Straight on top. As far as Thor goes, I've already said Thor, I can't say that. Thor is a good god to play. But like Ravana again, I'd say probably Thor deserves to be a warrior more, because anyone who looks at him won't go, oh, that guy. As if of course, if you ignore like Marvel and all that rubbish, you go, oh, the god of thunder. Loki the trickster is an assassin. Thor the god of thunder is an assassin. You mean the dude with the hammer? That very frequently used hammer, which is very conveniently used in a stealth sense. You mean the guy who literally smacks the ground, causes a giant rock to appear? Yeah, okay, he's an assassin. Right. That's it for now. That's them. Now to potentially needs nerfing. Arachne. Now Arachne is only up here for one of two small reasons / 2.5. Has a problem with the one thing I've always said in this game. Why do gods need companions? And she's up here for one of those reasons. Arachne can send out her spiderlings, which she will leave a nice little web wall. And if an enemy walks into them, it sends out 2 little spiders that come and attack the enemy. Not only do they attack the enemy, the 2 little spiders, but it slows you down for stepping in the web. You get slowed due to Arachne's web. Now, while she's got her 2 spiders attacking you, she can also come and attack you. Not only that, she can have 2 of the walls active at the same time. Okay. The rest of her abilities, her X, put a cocoon. If she hits you enough, it actually closes you up into a cocoon. And her square is a lifesteal, which at the moment, with 8.1, is still insanely broken. So, num. Take away all that health. And even off the off chance you do get her to 1 HP, she presses triangle and jumps up into the air and can walk for a very long time away. Now, does she need nerfing? 100% yes. Am I going to put her down? Maybe. Is she worth for a big nerf? Possibly. As far as Arachne's abilities go, when I look at all these other assassins, few of them do have like heal-based abilities, a lifesteal, even like a sort of stun slow. But Arachne has so much. A companion, a lifesteal, a cocoon, a slow. I keep saying cocoon, like a... it is a stun, potentially. A stun, a slow, and a very overpowered runaway. Now, I'll give a prime example, like Heimdallr has probably the most broken get across the map very quickly. Apollo, Thanatos, Thor, all sort of gods who can run away quickly, and Arachne has it as well. And it's actually pretty quick. With Thor, he has to spin his hammer to get in the air. Apollo has to quickly whistle for his horses to arrive. Arachne can actually just jump off the floor and up into the air. So, Is she, in terms of needs of a big nerf, I would actually say yes. But then again, it's very hard to say because if lifesteal at the moment wasn't so broken, it would be a big problem. And of course, the massive thing is with the attack speed, she could actually decimate so many people. So I would actually go as far to say she does need to stay up here. Do I think Arachne needs removing? Definitely not. I do like Arachne as an assassin. She's actually quite a lot of fun to play. But she does need to be looked at because any god that has a companion, which can also then cause an effect of slow, if you're an assassin and you can see someone slowly walking away, you're in paradise. You see a mage who forgot to buy boots. That's a free dinner. All right. Awelix. Now, Awelix is only on here for one small reason. I am actually very tempted to move her over to here. But she's up here for one reason. Her ultimate. If an enemy has been lifted up into the air, she can pull them and bring them over to her where she can beat the living heck into you. The rest of her abilities are pretty nice. She summons a cat which she can run on and gives her a quicker getaway, which is a little bit annoying if you're trying to fight her and she just pulls out a cat and then runs away. She has a stab, or like a shot where she can actually hit you up into the air. And then, of course, she can pull you in. And then when you're fighting her, she can actually do a flip over you. Awelix is a very, very massive god for so close quarters, no range, just hit you, run away. The problem I have with Awelix is being able to grab people through walls. Now, I've already mentioned this in other videos that some gods are being allowed to shoot through walls, other gods can't. Some gods being allowed to jump through walls, other gods can't. And I just don't know why the wall is there. Because in the game, you can clearly see, I remember having a rant about this on something else, you can clearly see the wall is not high enough for them to jump through, but they can jump through it anyway. It really makes Lianus look like complete useless. But Awelix, for me, it just seems insanely, insanely broken. She can launch you up into the air and then pull you through the wall. It's not even over the wall, it's through the wall. And it just doesn't seem very fair. And as in no other god could get away with that. There is no Ares, if he grabs you, he's run into your area, he can grab you and pull you through. But he can't sit on the other side of the wall and grab you and pull you through because it doesn't allow his ability. Awelix is up here because of her ult is ridiculously overpowered in terms of can pull you from your own safety. Does she really need a massive nerf? Not really. Right. Basset. Now, Basset, I'm actually not going to talk about too much because she's actually getting a rework. Same could be said for Persephone. That's another video for another day. But the question I have is, which I will say now, as I will not talk about Basset, I'll move her back down there, as she's getting a rework, won't cover it. Maybe a bit. Yeah, maybe a bit. The reason why she was up here, of course, her jump away was ridiculously overpowered. Jump once, throw her ability, jump away. And companions and minions again. So why does she need cats? She's a cat already. Why does she need more cats? Saying that, why does a spider need more spiders? But my question is, if you're going to rework Persephone and Basset high res, which I'm very happy for you, why are they still in the bloody game? If one of them's clearly broken and one of them's clearly terrible, which is Basset apparently, I'm not too sure why, because I think she's got very, very strong abilities. Why are they still in the game? Why haven't you removed them? But we won't talk about Basset because she's getting a rework. Bats. One of my favourite assassins to play, actually. I think he's number 4 in my list, if I had a number 4. Could probably tell you why he's in here, because of the most crowd control based ultimate for any god in the game. Humbatz's ult is drops down a pillar and has everybody running away from the middle of the circle. Rather than it pulling people in, it pushes you away and you can't actually physically do anything. That for an assassin is insanely strong. The rest of his abilities are pretty nice. His square jumps in, his X jumps up in the air and slams the ground, and then he throws a monkey at someone, which if he hits someone can teleport to the monkey. But Humbatz's ult is just insanely strong. As far as the rest of him goes, he's a pretty decent character. Does he need a massive nerf? No, I just wanted to mention, as far as his ult goes, my lord, that is a powerful ult. Ratatoskr is up here for a small reason, and I say his reason is another one why Baron Samedi, example, was up on his list. And on his own list. And the thing for Baron Samedi, one of the things mentioned, he can buy something no one else can. Ratatoskr can buy the nut, which no one else can. Or the acorn, sorry, not the nut. Okay, he can buy that, that's fine. However, when they changed it and gave it a rework, he can now buy 4 different acorns, all kitted to different things. And now, when you read through all the acorns, you go, wait a minute, he's a what? And then you look at it and you find out that the now squirrel can actually play the role of a guardian because of one of the acorns. I honestly don't know what that was or why that was a good idea. The rest of his abilities are pretty straightforward. A line dash, spin around chasing his own tail, throws his acorns at you. I thought he was trying to collect them. If all 3 of them hit you, it stuns you, and his ult's similar to that of Arachne, jump up in the air, boing, 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 bombs away, boom. Good run away ability, good jump in ability. However, like Thor, if you see him go up into the air, you can almost guarantee he's coming back down. And if he's low health, he's running away. If he's feeling confident, he's going to try and take you. But as far as Ratatoskr, I still think he needs a nerf, because why does he need so many options on an acorn to buy, but have an actual decent ability set as he is? For his abilities, he has very good set abilities, but I don't know why he gets an extra bonus of having an acorn, which you can then choose how to play him. I don't know. No idea. I mean, you do lose. They always said you do lose the ability to buy boots, potentially. But I go, well, boots, I never usually keep boots anyway. I sell boots and buy the potion. But won't go on too much about Ratatoskr, he's not the problem. 1 second. I'm going to cough. Set. Now then, what to say about Set? Not much really. I'm putting Set down here just because I do like to mention Set so often. It's only because of his teleport. Now, I'm actually going to do this, and I've just had a thought to myself, I'm going to swap them around. Set was the thing that his teleport, in my opinion, was more dangerous than Dashi's, because when he got to you, he could then hit faster than Dashi. But Dashi has the level of poison, which is... But it's very hard for me to talk about them, because they're both very good. Set is a god who can send out his sand version of himself, which he can then teleport to and slice and dice. He has a sort of like aura similar to that of Kushalane or Mythical Maul, whatever it's called, where if anyone's near him, it causes a small amount of damage over time. But he's actually a well-played assassin and a well-liked assassin. Very strong when he first came out, had a massive amount of nerfs and buffs to him when he first came out. But as far as he goes, he seems to be pretty decent. Sorry about that. But no, yes, so it's very hard to talk about both of these two. I tell you what, just for the purpose to please a few people, we'll put them at the all right. Why do I care? We'll put them at the all right rounder. All right, okay. Set and Dashi, you're both gonna stay on the level. While I find your teleportation annoying, it's not the most annoying. Thanatos. Wow, let's talk about Thanatos. One of the most common gods in the game, and like Thor, is on the front cover of the game, depending on which version you have saved on your console or whatever. Now, why is Thanatos up here? Maybe because of one of 3 reasons similar to why Arachne was up here. And let's go over each one of the 3 reasons. Right. Aside from lifesteal being insanely broken, his scythe getting lifesteal is still insanely overpowered. Okay. His stun, or rather, sorry, phase or lock, I can't remember the word, hits you and stops you from using any ability or attacking is very strong, very CC heavy. For an assassin to have that is questionable. And then to have the famous words of ultimate KO. Similarly to that of Achilles and Alquan, if you have a symbol above your head and he lands on you, you're dead. Even if Kepri has resurrected you, you're dead. Now, unlike that of Cuchulainn or Alquan, I moved both of those two back down. Actually, Alquan, I moved him to could he be an assassin? Because I do want him to be an assassin, because he makes sense as an assassin, he doesn't make sense as a mage. But for Thanatos, I'm not going to move him down, because at the moment, the way lifesteal is, he's still very, very strong. And looking at the way of his abilities work, with his movement speed increase, throwing his scythe, slashing you down the middle, and just landing on top of you, is very effective. Now, for gods such as Achilles and Alquan, if they want to instant kill you, they have to get near you. Thanatos, all he has to do is fly up in the air and go swoop down and stab you. Does he need a massive rework? Not really. Does he need to be removed? Definitely not. Thanatos, in my opinion, if they just, as always, if you fix the lifesteal system, they'll never do it. Sorry. There won't be a problem. But as he stands at the moment, he's still a little bit broken. Right. So we've moved some gods down, who we've considered to be a little bit. It's mainly alts and companions. But now let's get into the last two remaining gods. As far as Arachne goes, we're going to leave her there, but we won't talk about her. Alright, we'll go straight into Tsukayumi. Now, Tsukayumi, I'm going to put down here. I mentioned this. If you watched my hunter video, you might have seen that I actually consider Tsukayumi a hunter rather than an assassin. And I will go over that again very, very quickly now, in that he doesn't make sense as a damn assassin. Having near enough every single one of your abilities be a ranged ability, and then having one of your abilities be a stun, and then shooting laser light show out of your fingers, and the only physical attack you do in your abilities is when you slice through them. As far as he goes, you can counter him. You use Aegis, it doesn't affect you. But still, the problem of this is... Sorry. Keep doing that. Sorry. Keep cutting out the mic, my bad. The problem you have is that, yeah, that's very good, but I'm not actually looking about what you're building. I have mentioned lifesteal, but that's from a person's ability rather than an item they've bought. Now, the problem that you have with Tsukayumi, aside from that, what is he actually really broken? Well, let's see. Having an assassin where every single one of your abilities is range can be slightly overpowered. Having track stingers where you can't run away, or if you run into them, they cause damage over time. Having a stun and having an ult which is insanely difficult to dodge. Still say that he is a very, very broken assassin in terms of his abilities. Do I want him removed from the game? No. Do I want him changed class? Yes. I have to question High Res. He was one of the free downfall turns. The free spiral. Because it went Cthulhu, stupid god. Tsukayumi, I'm pretty sure they've put in the wrong class. And a stupid raccoon, who we will get on eventually when I do ever do a revamp of all the tier lists. But as far as I go, I just can't understand how he got through as an assassin. He doesn't make sense as an assassin. But, in my opinion, after playing all of these very poorly, and after playing most of them only once, sorry Set, I couldn't figure out how to play you. We come to, in my opinion, for abilities alone, the most broken assassin. Callie. Now that may surprise a lot of people, in that, for abilities, she just has a lot. Now, Callie's abilities can stretch from, okay, sweet, she has a jump in, which is nice. She has a jump in, a line dash, a sort of thing for an assassin. She can throw her blades at you and it causes bleeding damage or like a poison effect. Very cool. Actually, a lot of fun to play. And then you question her passive, her ult, and her other ability. Her other ability is a stun. Okay. I mean, Loki has a stun, that's his ult. Thanatos has a stun, that's his ult as well. Tsukayumi, the hunter, has a stun, but he has to get up, he has to swing his thing around and hit it in a small angle, like a very small area to hit. You can actually dodge his stun pretty easily. And Dashi's got a stun when she pulls you in, or Mercury's got a stun. They're all sort of like ult-based abilities. Not Kali's. Kali's is more of a shout like Kumbragana, where she can just shout, hit you in the vicinity, and stun you. Nothing she has to hit, she just has to be near you and stun you. Why the hell does an assassin have that sort of level of a stun? I've just said at least 5 other assassins who their stun is their ult. And she gets it in one ability that isn't even a ult. If you've seen my mage video, I ripped Hera to pieces in that her line-based ability is the same as Cernunnos' ult. She can turn anyone into an animal while he has to wait for his ult to do that. Okay, so she has a stun, which is pretty much Arachne, but Arachne has to keep hitting you over and over again. Okay. What does her ult do? Well, her ult does a similar thing to Chiron, in that when she presses it, blades come out of every angle and they just start spinning around her like she's got some sort of magnetic field, and she can just slice, 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 slice. When you get her down to 1 HP, she won't die. She'll keep hitting you over and over and over again if you're near her. She can't actually die when she's in that form. There's no Alquan, there's no Thanatos, she's invincible in that form. Unlike that of potentially a Chiron, when his ability ends if there's someone near him, he will die, Kali just sort of keeps going. And how does Kali sort of keep going? Well, I don't know. Let's just go over her passive. If she has targets, if her target is killed by her, she gains a chunk of health back. Okay. And the equivalent to that is pretty much 1,000 health points come back. What? So if she's on 1 HP, hitting her target in her ult, they die, she gets all of her health back. How? That is the highest amount of lifesteal in the entire game. And they wanted to look at fixing the lifesteal problem. They wanted to look at fixing the heal, the anti-heal. They wanted to look at fixing all of those, but you don't touch Kali, the one who, if she kills her target, or even a person near her, I'm almost certain, I might be wrong on this, I need to double check this, but if she kills someone who's not a target, she still gets a small percentage back. She's an assassin! Of course she's going to kill people! It's the argument going, oh, well, if she doesn't kill her target, she doesn't get her health back. She's a bloody assassin! That's their job. Assassin's job, kill people on low HP or do a lot of damage to the weak enemies. If your target is Merlin, who's probably the weakest in terms of health, Kali will slaughter him. And how's an even better way to kill your target? To walk up to them and stun them. Throw your things at them and jump at them. In my opinion, Kali is an absolutely stupid idea for an assassin. Stun you, poison you. If you try and get away, I'll jump after you. Press triangle, I'm invincible. If I kill you, I get all my health back. Best part though, I'm pretty certain she has the same ability as Morrigan, as she can pick her bloody target. Which means if you're the only mage on your team, and you don't have a dash, for instance, like your Zhonghui, your Ra, you don't have a dash that you can run away with, you're dead. So, does Kali need a massive amount of rework? Yes. Do I think she deserves to be removed from the game? Yes. Out of all of the assassins I have seen in this game, Kali is without doubt, in terms of her abilities and her passive, insanely overpowered. to the point of I don't know how she has been in the game for this long. Similarly, in terms of like Noir, Persephone, Hera in the mages category, they've been around for a fair. Persephone, Hera have both been around not that long. Okay, understood. Noir, a lot of other people don't have a problem with her, but Callie's been around for a fairly long time. How'd she have her abilities? How did you get away with an assassin without abilities? Now, as far as Tsukiyumi, if they don't say, okay, yeah, we're not going to, I potentially would. Sorry. If the change class category doesn't exist, I would say remove Tsukiyumi as well. Because he just doesn't make sense as an assassin. And if you're not prepared to change him to a hunter's position, bearing in mind high res aren't actually admit they've messed up, saying that their heal system is still broken. Okay, different video. We've already talked about that one in the past. So yes, that's that. With them not, of course, actually ever changing a god class to a new role, I would potentially say just remove him. Now, that would be my assassin opinion. The most broken being Arachne, due to companions, slow, grab, and lifesteal, and the worst being Loki, surprise, surprise, in the rework didn't actually work. And to remove Kali and Tsukiyumi. Now, as far as these gods go in the actual overall tier list of what I've seen of them, Arachne is actually ranked a very weak god, which is confusing to me, because looking at her abilities, I don't know how she could be classed as weak. Tsukiyumi is quite high up in the lists, and Kali is an A tier. Oddly enough, Loki is actually ranked one of the worst in the game, which does make sense after me looking at him. It does seem that the gods they rank high don't match the ones I do, but the gods we rank low do kind of match. Which is odd. But never fear. This is the Assassin's tier list. Now, we may come back with another tier list later on. We do have to cover the Hunters for the Danzebra. I won't do one every so often, I just will cover them. And I will need to redo a Guardian tier list, as I will be removing the change class tier list. I had 5 Guardians in the change to a new role system. I'm removing that little tier and I'm going to put them where I think they should. Because such gods as Ares, Ymir, and Cabrakan need to be put into the tier list. Because I've come to the conclusion Smite will never admit they're wrong. No, not wrong, just they won't consider changing them to a new role. It, of course, is my opinion, but it just doesn't actually look like what they're supposed to be. But that's that. Assassins, tried very hard to try and get them all in, but that's my overall opinion on abilities. I have to specify, yet again, it's abilities. It doesn't matter what you've built. It doesn't matter what relics you own, what items you have, how much lifesteal you have. It's just looking at their abilities. Now, that's Assassins. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.